Angry people don't want to be angry people. You don't want to be seen as somebody who gets angry quickly or who says mean things or does bad things or just acts out or is just a rude person in general. Nobody wants to be seen that. As much as people like to portray that sometimes, they like to say that I am a bad person or I have these certain bad qualities about myself and they'll never change and they just kind of sit there and accept this anger or whatever negative feelings that they have or their portrayal. It is not them. And I know that it has all affected us in some way where you are irritated about something or something didn't go your way or you're hurt or you have just something going on in your life and you take it out on the wrong people or the wrong things or you say not the best of things or you wouldn't act rational. Sorry, you wouldn't act rationally compared to how you usually would if you wouldn't have had that thing happen to you. And we're human and this happens. We do get angry, we do get irritated, and we look for a way to release our anger, our frustration, our negative feelings, or anything that we feel it might have gone wrong. We let it out in ways that maybe we shouldn't. And it shows in a lot of aspects in your life. And what I'm really going to talk about is how when you have a lot of sadness or you have a lot of trauma or you have a lot of things that have been pent up for a very long time, they come out in anger. And how it is easier to be angry than to be sad. Because when you're sad, you actually have to sit there and go through the emotions and feel all the things that you don't want to feel or recognize certain things that you think or what your reality is. It's not comfortable. And as human beings, we run from things that make us uncomfortable, things that make us feel afraid, or something that is different, something that isn't normal or and routine. So it's when you have a lot of pent up frustration or a lot of trauma, and this can apply to any aspect in your life, whether it be small, something that has recently happened to you, or something that might have happened to you in childhood, or something that's gradually gotten worse over time. It it's been building up, and it's like this weight on your shoulders, and it's everything is adding up slowly, and you're kind of kicking it off to the side. It's like when you go to clean your room and you say, "Oh no, I'll do it later," and you just keep throwing things. It's like a trash bin, is really what it is. That's an analogy. You just keep throwing trash away and it keeps building up over time and you don't take care of it. You don't acknowledge it. You just keep adding more things to the pile because it's you're neglecting it. And that's what you're doing emotionally. You're neglecting all of the things that you may be feeling or have felt or something that you've experienced. Something that you truly may be feeling inside or something that you're thinking. You are pushing it off to the side. So these normal feelings of maybe sadness or every other feeling but anger, you are you're molding it together. You're adding all of these things on top of this and there's this the first thing that you had happen to you, it's like a magnet to all the other bad things that are happening to you in your life and things that you're neglecting, things that you're adding on top of it, and it just keeps getting worse and worse until it forms into something that it wasn't originally. Until the sadness starts to turn into other forms into your life, other like frustration, being angry is what it turns into. And that happened to me too. And it still continues to happen, but I the first step is to acknowledge it, like always. And I realize, okay, I'm not an angry person. And just because you're angry, or you feel that way a lot of the time, or you think a lot of negative thoughts, that does not mean that you're automatically a bad person, because that is subjective. And don't start shaming yourself and feeling guilty for being this way, because you're this way for a reason. And don't put a label on yourself that you're a bad person because that makes you end up feeling worse and you're invalidating the way that you feel or the things that you have felt in the past or what you experienced. Don't invalidate that. It's just it's coming out in different forms and you just need to learn to manage it and realize where is this anger coming from? Why am I've never been this way before. Why am I all of a sudden saying hurtful things to the people that I love or doing bad things to myself? Really, because you are hurting yourself in a lot of ways. You may not even realize it. The way that you speak to yourself or the way that you do treat the people that you do love, it's hurting you in return. And you acknowledge that, okay, yes, I am angry. Where is this coming from? And a lot of it is rooted in childhood and trauma or experiences that you've neglected, like I've been saying. So it's when you don't feel the emotions properly or you don't go through it, I guess, in ways that you should. There's no right or wrong answer to it. But there's one thing that you can realize and be like, okay, well, maybe this isn't the best way to go about it when you completely forget about it or you blow it off. And then you try to distract yourself. As human beings, we like to be busy sometimes. It depends on who you are. But like we keep our brains busy, and subconsciously you may do this. You try to run from your problems by keeping yourself busy or doing other things or um, substances or drugs, things that will keep your mind off of what you're truly feeling or have experienced. Or maybe it's been your whole life and nothing's ever been so direct for you to feel it properly because you've just had bad things happen to you for so long. You've never been taught or you've never been in a good place where you can feel these emotions because this is all you've known. If it's trauma or if it's abuse, it's if it's anything like that, it's you've been living this way for so long, how are you supposed to know any different? So it's just a very complex situations, and it can apply to anybody in any aspect of their life. And it really does suck, especially when you haven't been this way for a long time. Like with me, I was not always such a mean, angry person to other people. And I never mean to be this way. And I know that a lot of people feel that way too. It just comes out of you. And it's just strange to me because I know that I'm such a kind and loving person deep down, and that doesn't go away. It doesn't. Just because you have your bad days or whatever, or you're changing sometimes does not mean all the good qualities about you are gone. But it sucks because you know deep down, like, I don't want to treat people this way. I don't want to talk this way. I don't want to feel this way. Why do I get irritated over things I shouldn't be irritated by? Or why do I like look at the world in such a negative lens sometimes? Or I'm just angry for no reason. I mean, it is for a reason, but at times it's like, why? That's all you can ask. It's like, why does this feel like it's happening to me? And why am I treating people horribly? And sometimes it may cause you to lose people. And though you don't mean it, sometimes it happens. And I'm not gonna say that it isn't within your control because deep down it is, but you don't get to control the way that you feel. You control the way that you react to it and the way that you perceive it, but you can't control the way that you feel deep down. And that's what sucks. Oh my God, it sucks. But I noticed that I was getting angry and I still do sometimes, but like I said before, I've acknowledged it and I've realized, okay, I'm not actually angry about this thing. I'm not actually irritated, frustrated. It's the things that I have going on internally and it just comes out wrong. It doesn't come out in the way that I want it to or have wanted to or how that I truly like intend it. It like it comes out just in a negative regard. And I've had a lot of things, just like anybody else in their fucking mother in their life, in your life. Everybody in the world has had something happen bad in their life. I get it. And, but speaking for me, like a lot of the things that have happened to me in my life, it turned into anger because it was so early on in my life. And it was a situation where I had no control. I was just stripped away from the life that I had known and from the person who I loved, and I was betrayed. I had the biggest betrayal of my life and to be lied to by someone who you love so much and they did something really horrible to you and for your whole life to be stripped away at such a young age, it's like you don't, how am I gonna know? Like, oh well, I need to sit in the stillness and I need to feel the emotions. Like, no, bitch, I'm 7 years old. I'm 7, 8, 9, 10. Like, I'm not thinking that way. Things are just happening to me and things are adding up slowly. And I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know how to manage it because nobody has been through the things that I was going through. Everybody has their own situations and people cannot fix problems for you. And I didn't know that I was having so many things happen to me internally. And then gradually throughout time, it's like as I got older and things progressively got worse. I stopped being a sad little sad little child and I started being fucking angry to people. I'm mad, or I even had people tell me like, "What is wrong with you?" And I still have that sometimes. Like people will ask you, "What's wrong with you?" Bitch, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. And that it's such a frustrating and lonely feeling like you are trapped in this thing where people are noticing the change in you or the things that you're doing or saying, and you feel it too, but you don't know exactly why. You don't know the root of the problem. And when people ask you these questions, it's like, okay, how do I explain this to you when I can't even explain it to myself? I don't understand it, even the slightest bit to explain it to you. I'm angry, and all I can say is I don't know. That's just me. When people ask me, what's wrong with you, or why are you angry, or why are you treating people this way, or um, like, do you hate your family? Like, do you hate this person that you love, for example? I've gotten told that before, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And it's so frustrating, and I get angry at that. Oh my God. I get angry because I don't know why I'm feeling this way. But I've come to the realization it is not because I am that person. These emotions do not define me. My actions do not define me. It was because I never had dealt with my emotions properly. And like I was talking about in the beginning of this video, how everything adds up on a pile of each other. And when you neglect something, it just continues to get worse and get bigger and bigger. And that is what I've been doing my whole life without realizing it. And how are we supposed to know, especially at a young age? But everything has had added up, and all this trauma and sadness and frustration that I had towards certain people or toward the life that I was living, it reflected externally and it began taking form of me treating people differently and treating the people who I love in ways that I usually wouldn't or that I would choose not to do. When I really think about the way that I treat people, it's difficult because sometimes you do it without thinking. And I need to like learn to start thinking about the shit that I do before I do it. But at least I know I have certain things I need to change about myself or mold or, make better. But I realized, okay, I've neglected a lot of emotions inside. And now I need to revisit them. I have to revisit these feelings, and you're not going to have all the answers all the time, and you're throughout your whole life you're not going to have the reason like this is exactly what happened, this is why I'm feeling the way I do, this is why I act, blah blah blah. You can only try your best to understand it to the best of your ability, but you can never understand the full root of it because it's not like you're looking for an answer in school, in English class. You're not doing that, or math. You're not doing that. It's life. It's what that you feel, and you'll never truly understand the way that you are or why you are the way you are. But you can try, and it feels better to know a little bit of why you are the way you are than to not know anything at all. So I had to sit in a lot of the emotions that I had and realize, okay, I'm not actually mad at this person. I'm not getting irritated at this person. I had just a lot of pent up frustration and I'm looking for a target because anger targets things or people. And you do things, you act irrationally. And when you are angry, you are not yourself. And that's all I can say. Is the way that you think or the way that you talk or something that you do and without thinking, don't act out of anger. Like that is one of the best advice that I could give anybody is to never act out of anger or a very strong negative emotion that is when not when you are calm, not when you are just present, not when you are just in a clear state of mind and you are really angry, you act in ways that you never would. And you will always end up with some sort of regret, or the way that you act or the way that you talk. You will always feel some sort of regret. And a lot of the worst things that happen in life happen out of anger. When people do things irrationally without thinking, when they make an action or they say something without thinking, and then they ruin a lot of things. Everybody can relate to that in some sense too. I know that. But you just have to realize, okay, I'm not angry at this thing. I'm angry at whatever it is. I might be angry at myself too, and that was part of mine too. It's like I'm angry. Like, why am I this way? I wish I wasn't this way, and I'm just ugh. I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of treating people this way, but I don't know why I am the way I am, and I must be a bad person. It was like a cycle that I kept going in back and forth that I wasn't trying to understand why I was. I was just hating who I was and not trying to change it or or understand why I was the way I was. I was just kind of accepting it for what I could see. And I just had to do a little internal work. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm tired of being, feeling shitty about myself. I need to get the fuck up and I need to try to understand why do I act this way? Like, why am I mad all the time? Like, God forbid somebody breathed too hard next to me. I'm like, oh my God. Like, it sucks. Um, and, but the only thing that you can do is understand, okay, like I was talking about before, I'm not actually mad at this thing. I'm mad at something else. This is coming from maybe this experience. Maybe so and so broke up with me and now I'm mad. Like, I don't know how to feel about this. I didn't sit in the sadness. I didn't sit and feel the emotions and feel everything. I just kind of shoved it off to the side and kept myself busy. And now it's reflecting externally into other factors in my life in which I'd never had before. Just realize it is not because you were a bad person. It is because something that you have is neglected inside, internally, an emotion, an experience, something that you didn't sit in the stillness with and be present, because as human beings we need to acknowledge the things that we've felt or gone through to the best of our ability, because if we don't, like I said, it adds up over time and it transforms into something that's completely not, and it hurts us in more ways than we think it would. So that's why we need to sit in that uncomfortability for a while, because it will help us in the long run. Running from the things that we're afraid of, the emotions that we're afraid of, the things that we feel, running from them, yeah, it may seem okay in the beginning. Yeah, you feel like, okay, I don't actually need to feel what just happened to me. I don't actually need to accept it or see exactly the gravity that my situation in which I'm living in right now. I can hide from it. But then hiding from it causes a whole bunch of other issues when you could have got the first issue a little bit solved, solved to the point where you're not acting out in the way that you are right now. It's going to help you in the long run. So the biggest things that we can do for ourselves when something happens to us is, to acknowledge it and reframe your mind and sit, and you don't have to fucking meditate and sit there in stillness and like feel present, unless that helps for you, because sometimes it does. Sometimes when I get really angry, I just need to sit there in silence for a little while and understand, okay, maybe I shouldn't say this thing. And I always feel better because I'm like, okay, thank God I didn't actually say this, because I'd be really embarrassed and really ashamed. But you don't have to physically sit in silence. You can do things to help you. You go to there's just, okay, here's a few things that I do that help me. I don't go to therapy anymore. But that helps with a lot of things. To being able to talk to somebody who you don't know, that can open up, who has studied, okay? Who has studied and helped people. You just have to find the right person for you. They can help you understand you, parts of you, and what's happened to you, and you're not alone in that. And then journaling for me, because I'm just a writer in general, but when things do happen, when you write it down, you get everything out, everything that's building up inside. When I don't write for a long time, I feel like very, I don't know how to explain it. I feel very overwhelmed. I have so many things I want to say. And as time goes on, I forget things, or so many things have built up where I don't even want to write anymore. So that's why you need to just write it down. Write down everything that you need to say, or everything that you feel. Something that there's some things that you would never tell people. Write it down in that journal, because that is personal to you and it helps you in more ways that you would think. Maybe you're not a writer. Maybe you're not. You don't have to go on like people with the fucking journal entries, and I wake up in the morning and I write for 5 minutes and I drink my lemon water and my tea and like shit, bitch, shut the fuck up. Like, just you can write. It does not need to be everything that everybody else says you need to do. You don't need to find journal entries and get a specific journal and write for 5 minutes and I'm so grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. No, talk about the things that you're not grateful for. Like, talk about the real you, let that come out. Let you express yourself, and maybe like I said, the ways that you wouldn't speak to other people or the way that you wouldn't act in front of other people, this is personal to you. So don't act like someone who you're not. Don't be fake like you are to everybody else and hide the way that you truly feel, because you might end up in fucking prison. Write it down, and it feels so much better even if you said really horrible things. It's okay, because that's for you. And then you don't have to read it, because like with me, I don't go back with my journal entries. Like, I have about 10 journals that I've written in the past like 3 years, and I don't like to go back into it. It's just for me to get it out, and it helps you in a lot of ways too. It helps you better understand your emotions, how you feel, what you're feeling exactly. Maybe if you do reread your things, you could be like, oh, well, this makes sense. Everything that I'm talking about right now, it all adds up back to this one experience. Or so and so said this to me, and now I'm acting out, or now I'm writing all these things and I'm scribbling and I can't understand what I'm like what I'm writing or reading. You know why this has happened. Or doing things that oh fuck. Doing things that you love can help you too. Not in an unhealthy way to the point where you're not thinking about things, but to get out of your own head or to maybe find your way back to things that you used to do before and you stopped. Um, or hanging out with people that you love, your friends, your family. Just finding your way back to yourself and understanding and trying your best to understand you and what you're feeling and why you're feeling it to the best of your ability. And it will help you. And then when things do come up in your life, you know how to handle it better. So don't sit in the comfortability of running from your problems because it adds up and it becomes an emotion that will really affect you in other aspects of your life negatively. So just understand the way that you feel. Try so hard to learn about yourself because we're all you got in this world is yourself. So why are you wasting it on time where you're not trying to learn about yourself? Like what? Like you're a stranger, like you're living with a stranger. Try your best to understand why you are the way you are and you learn more about the world and people in general and you become a better person. You know how to treat people better. You know how to approach people or situations in ways that you wouldn't have before or other people can't or you can share and you can help people. You can most importantly you help yourself. Life isn't always going to be rainbows, butterflies and shit. So you need the tools, you need this foundation like to help you when things go wrong. You're not just sitting there like, oh, I don't know. Like you have something to go back on. You have something to lean on when things go bad. Because if you don't, when certain things happen to you, traumatic, like something that's traumatic or sad or bad, you don't. You're left with nothing, and it hurts you. So at least have that foundation of something that you know will help you in the long run. Something that you can fall back, something that's comforting, something that will help you do that. So just try your best to learn about yourself and acknowledge your feelings and the things that's happened to you because 9 times out of 10, you are not an angry person. It is just that you are the reflection of everything that's happened to you in your life and neglected emotions, things that you probably didn't have any control over. It's not your fault, but it's up to you to want to change it and to see from a different perspective and live a different life as in a positive way. So I hope that you enjoyed or took something from what I spoke about. Um, I've been dealing with this a lot, and it's been very prominent for more than half of my life. And I just really felt like I wanted to talk about this. And it helps me too, speaking about it, because it just brings truth and brings out the reality of the things that I'm living and that I'm not always in my head. And I'm not an angry person. I'm not a bad person. And neither are you. So just remember that. Thank you.